Hello everyone. So this is the second episode of the skill tree system that we are working on for my action RPG game. So here, uh, as you already know, I am following the design of Forest and Forbidden West, and here we will have multiple skill trees, and for each category we will have a tree like this that represents the hierarchy and the dependencies between each skill through these lines. And today, in this episode, so this is what we will be having. We will have the tree, and last time we figured out how to dynamically create these buttons and add it into the widget in the UI in this order. And today we are going to work on how to draw these lines in the runtime through blueprints without using an image, because this skill tree is created using data that we have stored in this data table. Therefore we can't have a static image as the tree, so we need to dynamically create everything by reading the data in this data table. So yeah, let's see how to do that today. So here basically we will be overriding this OnPaint function in the widget, and here we will use this drawLine function to draw the lines in between the skills. Alright, so before we get started, let me remind you that you can download the project files of this project and all of the thousands of projects I have done from my Patreon page. Once you become a member, you can access anything without any limit, so feel free to check it out. And also you can watch all the episodes of this series in this playlist, Unreal Engine Action RPG with Gameplay Ability System. So I'll leave the link to the full playlist also in the description below. Alright, now let's get back to today's episode. Alright, so this is where we stopped last time. We have this data table which we define scales: health update 1, health update 2, stamina update 1, health update 3, so things like that. And using this data table we dynamically create this hierarchy of skills that is represented by these buttons, and this is working. So here you see nothing here. That's because these buttons are automatically created in this function, this initialize tree function, which I call in this pre-construct. Okay, so now next step is, here I have defined dependencies. So for example, this health update 3 have a dependency to health update 2, and also I have the dependency to stamina update 1. And like this, health update 4 have a dependency to health update 3, and stamina update 4 have a dependency to health update 3. So we should have something like this, and lines connecting this way, and we already have the structure, similar structure here, but we don't have the lines yet. Okay, now to draw lines in a widget, we can use this button, this function. We can override OnPaint, and here draw line. Here we have something like called this draw line. We can give this context, and just to show you how it works, let me start in point 0, and let me draw a line like this. If I go here, see, now we have a line. So that's the function I'm going to use. But in order to use that, first I need to determine all the lines, all the points for the lines that we need to draw in order to show the dependencies. All right. So yeah, let me delete this. And go back to initialize screen. So this is the step where we add buttons. So now we need to access buttons in order to determine their locations to draw lines. Therefore, let's store these buttons that we create into some kind of a map that we can access with the name of the scale. So let's add a variable. I'll call it scale button, make it name, and change this type to map. So the value key is name, value should be the scale button. Okay, now as we create these buttons, yeah, let me drag this back, scale button map. I'll add this map. This is the button, and the name we can access from here. Okay. Okay. Now in this scale button map, I will have all the references to all the skill buttons. Okay. Now this step, let me add a comment. Skill button. Right. And now we are going to have another step, and that is to again determine all the lines. So for that also, we're gonna have to iterate through all the skills. Okay, now for each these dependencies, so each dependency would represent a line. So let's run a for each loop on these dependencies, and then here we have the dependency name, and we can find a button that maps to the name using this scale button map. Okay, so now on the name, and if we can find one, well, we should obviously, because we are doing it right in the previous step, but the only thing that can go wrong is in case that I have a invalid name. So for example, if I had something like 22, here we don't have a name called health update 22, so in that case we wouldn't have an element. So that's why we need to add this branch to check. And if we do, so this would we need to add this. Let's add two more arrays, and this is from the skill button object. I print from auto variable and delete it. That's because now I can automatically get this skill button and array line starts same way, line ends. Start buttons. That's clear. Line end buttons. Okay, now I'll add this to line start buttons. Add. Don't use add unique here, make sure to use add, because we will have multiple lines that is starting from the same button. Okay. And then again we need a find for the line end. Line end should match with this name. Okay. Be like this. If true, I'll get line end buttons, add. Here we need to add this. Okay, now this is okay. Now here we have line start buttons and line end buttons. Right, now let's call this dependency. Call this dependency pair. Okay, now we can go to OnPaint. Now all we need to do here is from this line start button for each, and then we can use the line end and get using this index. So here this would be the starting point and this would be the end point. So we just need to draw lines. But the challenge here is determining the location in the viewport in order to draw the lines. Now the way to get that is from this we can get cached geometry, and then from that we can use local to viewport. I had to trial and error this a lot to figure it out. And then we need to divide this pixel position with the viewport scale. And then return this. So this would be here. Fine. This would be position A, and we can do the same thing. Let me promote this to a macro. Get position. Instead of self, I'll call it scale. It's not necessary to be a skill button, but that's the name in this context. This should be the end. Completed. Return. Okay. Now complete zero context. So here we don't see that because I noticed that it's not working correctly in the editor. Not in editor, in the editor time. So we need to run it. So to test this on the runtime, here, this is the level blueprint. Let me add begin play and create widget from 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥. Okay, now if I play, now here you see we have that. See, it's starting from this corner because that's the position on the button, but we do have the lines that connect. To make this clear, let's wrap this with the border. Have some transparency. Now see, we do see the lines. So now we just need to figure out a way to make the lines start from here to the top of the next button. So for that, let's add some offset. We can do it this way. We can get desired size, and then we can multiply this with some value. So let's promote this as a parameter and let's call it offset. Okay. So this is I'm multiplying this by size, so whatever the value that I enter here will be multiplied by this size and then added to this position. Okay, now horizontally I need to move this half of the width of the button. So that's for both. So I'll make this 0.5, the start position. 0.5, compile. See, now it's starting from the middle. Okay, then the next step is I need to, instead of starting from here, it should start from the bottom and should go to the top of the next button. So that, make it 1, compile, let's see. Okay, it's kind of working, but we have some issues. I think we have some cyclic dependencies defined. Let's see. For the first one, health update 1 should not have any dependencies. Okay, this is in the level 1. This is stamina update 1. This should not have itself as a dependency. Why did I do that? Okay, now it looks all good. And now we have the lines. One more thing. So if these buttons are too big for you, yeah, that's what 60 by 60. Yeah. Oh, so I know this is simple and this doesn't look anything like this yet, but we have the base here, so we can continue to improve from this. And in upcoming episodes, let's see how to have multiple trees for multiple categories of the skills, and also how to unlock each of these skill buttons based on what is already unlocked in the hierarchy and what is not. So thanks for watching. As always, updated project files will be available here for download in the Patreon page. Link would be in the description below. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.